Welcome everyone back to the Last Word Podcast. As always, I'm Jay.
And I'm Rabbit.
And we're back into it. I don't know.
Oh, we're already back into
We're
it.
we're in it. We're in it. We're in the shit. It is mid-December. And it has ceased to just continue with the bullshit. It has not ceased to continue with the bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. It's like one thing after the other.
It is. It's one thing after the other. I don't even think I'm complaining because in the end of it, I'm fine. I feel good and I still feel really positive about everything and the future. But like these speed bumps, these hurdles they're getting old, you know? They're tiring.
Yeah, it's a lot. I don't know if I'm necessarily in that positive place, but it's a test.
Well, yeah, it's definitely a test. I feel like
to
either
get
way,
through it, I have to use everything that I've learned over the last few months.
Yeah.
Over the last 5 months. So, yay! Practice.
Yeah. We're doing our best, I guess, and that's it, right?
Yeah,
What else
I mean,
can
we're
you
trying.
Say?
We're
what
really
else can
trying
you say?
through all of it.
I don't know. I don't know how long this one's going to be exactly. We're going to talk about what we're going to talk about, and that's it. This one's a little hard for me, and even just right now, it's hard. But speaking of speed bumps, the night after we were done recording the last podcast, that night, got word from some friends and there's some stuff going on, but at the end of it, essentially, this wasn't a death or anything like that, but I lost a friend of 20 years. As I just said, it wasn't loss like someone died or anything like that, but it was definitely loss.
Well, it's more of like a breakup. Let's call it what it is, because it is. Even if it's not like a romantic relationship or a death,
I mean, it's not
a breakup.
And it feels like a breakup, even if we weren't, I mean, even if we weren't, like, basically, even if we weren't fucking, because I loved him, you know what I mean, and he was my friend.
Although there was no shortage of jokes, and there is no shortage of jokes on you and your friends.
Between us all about sex,
yeah,
sexual things,
the community
the
bed,
milieu,
community bed in our Minecraft house.
We have a Minecraft house, and there's about 5 beds all together, and we all sleep together, and there's nothing wrong with that.
There is something wrong with it, but they forced me to make my own home.
Yeah, you had to get kicked out. I mean, come on.
But yeah, so I mean, the night that we recorded, and we kind of ended in a really good spot.
It felt good.
Yeah, and then Joel's friend Taco, our friend Taco,
friend Taco,
called us and just said, "Hey, do you have a minute to talk?"
All this going on. The short end of it is that essentially our friend Cameron has no interest in being anyone's friend anymore, which includes us. It includes everyone, and especially the friends that he was living with in Arizona.
Yeah. So Cameron and a few other people live in Phoenix, Arizona, and they've been roommates for a long time.
Yeah, we've talked about like my group of friends and us growing up, and essentially once we got to a certain point, everyone kind of broke off. Only a couple of us stayed in New Mexico or went to another city in New Mexico. The rest went to Arizona.
Yeah.
And they've been living there ever since. Off and on different places, but they've always been there. And for almost 5 years now, maybe more, they've all been roommates together. And it was really weird at first, just getting the initial information I got from it and getting his own message to a group text, which I wasn't even in. I had to get it sent to me separately. it was so confusing, and in some way it still is, but I think
The whole situation.
I think I have a better understanding of it now, but especially in that moment, just going moment by moment in that moment, I didn't know what to think.
I mean, there was so many questions initially, and even if or after we got some more clarification, there's still questions.
Yeah.
Now, we've heard from one of the roommates and friend, Jeff. We've heard from him personally. You've talked to him personally.
Yeah.
And there was even more clarification,
Yeah.
even more like certainty of what happened, one person's point of view that was directly like involved with it.
I feel like I got both sides of the story.
Yeah. But there's still questions because you guys have been friends for almost 20 years, probably a little more. And it's just like, how? Why?
How? Well, that's the question, isn't it? In any type of thing like this, whether it's a breakup, a divorce, losing a friend, whatever, how? And most of the time it's rarely ever two people know this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's one person blindsided and one person who's been feeling this for a while. And whether
or something similar,
and whatever it is, whether it's a relationship, marriage, a friendship, anything like this, it kind of all happens in some way like this. It's really dependent on that one person, typically. But I think even Dr. Drew said it, once, whatever it is, friendships, relationships, in this case, obviously a friendship, whenever things start happening is whenever resentment starts.
Right.
Whenever someone starts resenting the other person or persons is when it starts growing and it festers and it gets bad and then eventually it comes to an end.
Yep.
And it's hard to say what that was in this case exactly. Especially because I feel like from the person I would get those answers from, I'm not going to. Because it seems like there's a lot of posturing, a lot of like portraying a specific narrative.
Yeah.
As opposed to being honest. Because if I would have just gone by what was told to everyone, and again, not even told to me, it told to a group text with not everyone in it, if I would have gone by just that, I would have thought this one thing and thought, oh, Cameron is really going through something right now, blah blah blah, he really needs help, he needs us, all that crap.
Yeah.
But hearing two sides to the story, I feel otherwise now. And the simple fact of the matter is that he's probably not. And if he is, he doesn't want to know or to hear anyone say, at least any of us say, we're here for you. We're still your friend, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And he's content, and it seems he's content with just continuing to foster that narrative that, he wants people to think what he wants them to think. He doesn't want them to know that, he burned, 13 bridges all at once,
Yeah.
and 3 of those bridges pretty severely,
Yeah, I mean, he's only giving us as much information as he wants. Enough, for the most part, to get some people who would press for more off his back.
Yeah. And closing it in such a way that you can't really ask for more if you wanted to.
No. So give a little bit of background, because there might be some people. It's mostly your friends or our friends who already know the whole story because they lived it. But yeah, if there are people listening who don't know the story, give some background on you and Cameron and some of your other friendships too. Because when I tell parts of the story, or when I tell people about you guys, they're like, Oh my God, how long? You guys have been friends for a really long time. How did that happen? It's a phenomenon. So give us a little background on it.
On the friendship?
The friendship, where you guys met. How long you've been friends. All of that.
I probably am jumping around a little bit, and I'm sorry. This is hard, but we met in 4th grade. The first time I was like, Cameron's my friend, is our elementary school was like right adjacent. The like school playground was adjacent to a very large ditch. It was the Big Ditch. It's called the Big Ditch. And it's just so weird and kind of fucked up. The, like elementary school kids, that's where they're playing. You know what I mean?
Gonna say like,
it's just, and like I used to have to cross this bridge across the Big Ditch just to get like into school and stuff like that.
I've been across that bridge.
It's pretty ridiculous, and it's also kind of funny.
Yep.
There's a metaphor in there somewhere. But the moment was like, yeah, we're friends. Was my football went over the fence into like the wilderness of the Big Ditch, and the teachers would let you go over, but only if you brought like someone with you.
Yeah.
So I brought Cameron with
buddy
me.
System.
Yeah, buddy system, and I chose Cameron as my buddy, and we went running through, and we were like jumping on stuff, and like just like we were going to get the football, but we were like taking our time, and like
you guys were having a little adventure.
Yeah, and getting to the football, I never tied my shoes, or if I did, they were very loose because I didn't like tying them, so I just wanted to slip them off and slip them on.
It's a very kid thing.
Yeah. Took too much time to tie them. I was like, I got shit to do. You know what I mean? So
I'm 7 years old. I have things to do.
Exactly. I have important things to do. I got big plans. So my shoe slipped off as we were going through the wilderness of the Big Ditch, and I couldn't grab it because I needed to step to grab it, but there was a bunch of barbed wire on the ground. Like it was amongst like bushes and stuff. Like it was from like an old fence that fell or who knows what, but it was just out there.
Oh my God.
And
they're letting children play by this area.
Well, there was a fence between us and that, but we went over the fence to get the ball.
Yeah.
So we were essentially still in that area. And so I remember calling Cameron over, like, Cameron, help. And then he like came and he picked up my shoe for me and like gave it to me and like helped me get it on, and then we left.
Oh.
And like that was it from
there.
there.
Did you ever get the football back?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Mission accomplished.
And the lives were saved. and yeah, so that was it. That was
the beginning of
and then we had 4th grade together, and 5th grade and 6th grade, and so on and so forth, through middle school, through high school, through part of our adulthood. And I will admit, between 23, 24, and now, we weren't that close because we literally lived, in different states. You know what I mean? And we each had our lives happening. So I don't know what happened in between then and now, and maybe there was something there. But needless to say, it was a 20-year friendship.
Yeah.
For the most part, always close. Very close. Never really thought, and I guess you never do, whatever it is, whether it's a friendship or otherwise, you never really think, oh, this person won't be here someday.
Yeah.
Like, this person won't be your friend, or this person won't be your husband or wife or whatever. And it's hard.
Yeah, I definitely understand that.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the base of, what's going on, I mean, I understand that. I just went through it. I'm going through it. And now we're both here. Yeah. Cameron was my friend too. I mean, I definitely can't put anything on, 20 years versus 8. Nothing like that. But, I had deep conversations with Cameron too. I painted Cameron something, and not just like gave a painting to Cameron, which, I've given paintings to lots of friends, but I actually painted him something. I had deep conversations with him. He's told me things. I thought he felt comfortable enough to come to me with certain things. I have experiences with Cameron too, and this makes me really sad too. This is really hard for me. And not to say, that it's not harder for you or one of the other guys, but, I have experiences with it too, and it confuses the hell out of me, and it makes me really sad.
Yeah.
Because after 20 years, you guys have been through a lot.
Yeah. I'm sorry. But yeah, I think one of the things that makes a lot of sense right now as far as the loss goes, as in a movie we saw recently, and it's about, they're getting a divorce in the movie, but one of the guys says, like, and in this term, it's like losing a friend or a breakup or a divorce. It's like, it's a death without the body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's still loss, and you feel the loss, and you feel the sadness and the confusion and the anger. But, this person continues on.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's just hard to say, because I do think about what we've been through. But part of me, at this point, knowing everything and knowing kind of two sides to this whole thing, it's like I question what was real, what had meaning, like genuine meaning, or what was just embellishments or just contributions to the facade. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I feel like either way, like, I know what was real for me, like meaningful moments, and we had been through so much. We grew up together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I really can't piece it. It's 20 years. It's hard to remember everything,
Yeah.
but we've been in fights together, like not fighting each other, but fighting other people. We've been in trouble together. We've had parties, from being 10 years old to being 20 and older. We did everything. How can you describe it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, ask anyone who's had a brother, and ask him, tell me everything you did. It's like, we did fucking everything,
Yeah.
We did everything. Girlfriends, going through that, losing girlfriends, college. We lived together. We were roommates when we both went to college.
Yeah. You guys have been roommates.
We were
twice.
roommates when you and I moved to Phoenix. We did everything.
Yeah.
We did everything, and it's weird because not one thing really stands out, because it all stands out. It all meant something. It all meant something, and like I said, going through it now, it's a little tainted, because I question how much of it was sincere. And some of the things that I hold so dear in my memory to what was our friendship, not just between him and I, but everyone, was like going to his house and hanging out and sleeping over and just having fun and since we were little, all 10 of us able to fit in one room, to being 13 and having to gravitate outside, to being 17, 18, 19, and people are now in the hallways and in the room, and like not everyone can fit, and you know what I mean? It was years of every year. You could do a time lapse of it, you know what I mean? And those were some of the things that meant the most to me. There was a place we could always go and be happy and be safe and be comfortable and be ourselves. And that was some of the stuff that meant the most to me. And now some of that stuff that meant the most to me is some of the stuff that he seemingly resents us for.
Yeah.
So what the fuck do I do with that, you know? You think you know someone.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that after almost 20 years that you know Cameron pretty well, but, we're finding that we don't. And we don't even really know exactly what's going on or what happened. From what we know is this could have been building up for months or years, and it all just kind of came out.
It could have been building up for months or years. It could have just happened.
Right, we don't know, and we don't know if it's drugs
because of something,
right.
like another influence, either a person or otherwise chemical.
Right. Mental illness.
Yeah, or that. We don't know. Or if it's just always been like that for a long time.
I think that's some of it, like what you're describing just now, thinking back and looking at memories. Is that the way that Cameron always was?
And
the little things, it makes you question nearly everything now. Like you just said, were these actually sincere moments for him? Or were they only sincere for me? And you tell me like little things, like, hey, Cameron did this to me once. Is this something?
Yeah.
Is this a thing? Or, hey, I remember when Cameron said this to me.
Yeah.
And it felt weird then. And now it really feels weird now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's pieces that I start putting together from things that happened that I didn't really think of, but now I think of in this new light. And I'm like, oh, that was actually probably something. And that was probably had something to do with all this right now.
Yeah.
Fact of the matter is, as teenagers, admittedly, and I'll admit it now, and I've admitted it before, and I'll continue to admit it, we were like terrible, terrible kids. You know what I mean? Like we were just shitty teenagers. All of us, every single one of us, we were fucking horrible, and we were apathetic and narcissistic and selfish and all those things. You know what I mean? But we had each other, and we had this ideal group, special people. We're different from everyone else, that whole thing. But I don't know, eventually, obviously we grew up.
Yeah.
And we grew out of it, and we became human beings and our own people. And based on everything that's happened recently and what I know, I don't think some of us ever continued to grow.
Yeah.
And I think, some of us are still stuck there. It causes a lot of problems, obviously. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of the things that really sucked the most was his view on everyone else. His words, based on what I heard, were, I thought you guys were going to be something.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I thought you were going to go somewhere or something like that. It's like, what the fuck does that mean?
Well, talk a little bit about the group, because you guys weren't just friends. You guys had this group. It was a group. And when I came into it, you described it, and I saw it for myself. You guys have a tight-knit group of friends that you guys kind of put through a lot. Mm-hmm. I would say trials to test if you're one of us.
Right.
But describe the kind of like brotherhood.
Well, that's what it was. It was a brotherhood. It was Yeah, it was a brotherhood. In any other place, it would have been, if we weren't teenagers, it would have been a cult or a gang or something like that. Seriously. But we were out in some way outcasts, but we all had each other.
Yeah.
So it was weird. I don't know. There's a reason why I called us Lost Boys. You know what I mean? Because there's no other way to describe it. We were different people from different places in life who liked different things, but we all came together, and it was something else.
Yeah.
And we had, obviously some of us knowing each other from when we were at elementary school, and it just building and building from there. And yeah, anytime someone new came into the group, they were tested in some way. There's like a weird pecking order, and we were very mean to those people, and then if they stuck around through the bullshit and the harassment, then they would become a part of it.
And some people are still around for the harassment.
Yeah. And then they would become a part of it, and they would just continue from there. And we would sometimes chew people up and spit them out. Like, some kids did not make it through, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that, it sounds dramatic, but it was true. And like I said, we were pretty fucking terrible. Right. And but because of all of that, it perpetuated this sense of closeness, of brotherhood, of family. Yeah. Like, it's us versus them type of thing, which got us through high school and continued to help us get through life a little bit after that. You know what I mean? It got us through middle school, high school, and so a little bit so on. Yeah. Because in some way we needed that. Sometimes middle school and high school is all about just survival, you know?
Yeah.
And
I would say so.
And so we needed that. And we needed it. In some way we needed it to survive. But when life continued after that, and you have to kind of function normally, amongst other people in jobs and in college and stuff like that, it doesn't always stay that way. With that, you can't keep having that same sense, that mentality, us versus them, and so things change.
Well, I mean, we've talked about it. You have to grow up in a sense, and things do happen. I mean, you have to decide what you want to do. Well, not for the rest of your life, but, a career that makes you happy, that makes money, that keeps you living how you want to live. And then, people actually do end up growing up, meeting people, getting married, having kids, or, well, sometimes not getting married, but having kids and moving in. That does happen. I mean, and obviously you and I are, married and living on our own. So, you guys all did have to grow up at some point, live your own life, but that didn't necessarily mean that the friendships were gone or that they meant any less. It's just like some of the extreme ideas had to change.
Yeah, and those extreme ideas being like, us versus them, but then we also always, I guess, had the notion that we were going to go together, be together, and we're going to take over the world together. You know what I mean? People are going to be, some of us are going to be doing music. The rest of us are going to be, like, making movies and so on and so forth.
So you guys are all, from what I've seen for myself, what I've heard for myself, you guys are all really creative people pursuing creative work in some way or another. There's some people who want to make music. There's some people who do want to, do art. And I think it is, it's amazing, but it is crazy the fate that had to bring you guys all together. Yeah. All of you are into something creative and have always been. For you guys to be able to come together and even be friends for this long is amazing. But that's what you guys wanted to do. And I've heard the stories. You wrote a whole you wrote a whole movie that all the guys were supposed to be in and be a part of. Like, every single one was going to have, like, a job or something. You did that. And everyone else is going to be a part of it. And there's, other people who want to do other creative things like that. I've heard about them. I've heard about these ideas. I don't know, just to know that from an entire group of people is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That you guys had dreams. You guys did want to do stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, since, I don't know, since middle school, 15 years or whatever, like, into it. That was, in some way, the goal. I guess that was the reference to him trying to say, I thought you were going to be something. I thought you were going to, whatever it was. And, but it's just weird because, I mean, it's great to have all those thoughts and all those plans, but plans without application, it's like, who gives a shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you find out that, like, it's not that easy to just do. It is, but it's not. And other things happen, and even you go on your own journey. You know what I mean? And this journey is not over. But to have these, like, high expectations, or these expectations that you only expected in your head but never like helped anyone get there, it's like, well, what is that? You know what I mean?
Right. Well, from my own point of view, and only my point of view, Cameron always had a new project. Mm-hmm. He always had something else he wanted to work on. I remember he wanted to be a DJ at some point.
Yeah.
He wanted to make board games.
Yeah.
But with everybody,
he wanted to write a book. He wanted to travel around the country and be a chef in different places. Yeah.
He always wanted to do something different, and then I remember him saying it, and I don't remember exactly how he said it, but that when one of us made it, meaning you guys, not me necessarily, mm-hmm. when one of you made it, to make sure to bring everyone else along with you, mm-hmm. or that we would all, I don't mean feed, I was going to say feed off of each other, but I guess work together to make sure that everyone else, mm-hmm. I guess, lack of better terms here, gets famous too.
Right.
Like, if you make it in your industry and you have, connections and people, make sure to bring everyone else along with you.
Right.
Which isn't a bad philosophy now if for some reason this podcast actually takes off and we get far. Of course, we're going to do favors for people that are in our lives and our friends, mm-hmm. to make sure that they get a little further in what they want to do. Mm-hmm. But to think that you're just going to ride someone's coattail to the top, mm-hmm. when they've done all the work is...
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
It makes no sense. Like, for anyone to put some sort of expectation on someone and just, like, okay, well, to go do it, like, and just expect them to do it, and then get mad at them when it doesn't go the exact way you thought in your head.
Right.
And it's like, well, what the fuck were you doing? You know what I mean? What did you do to help this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or what were you doing for yourself?
Yeah.
Like, if you wanted to do something or do all these things, or if you had this expectation for someone else, then why didn't you have it for yourself? And what were you doing to help that?
Right.
And, only they can answer that. But, I mean...
It was just so weird for
it's just
Cameron to say that, and for us to kind of know a little bit what he's talking about, mm-hmm. and then to realize that he did have these expectations for you guys.
Yeah.
He saw this whole other world in his head that just wasn't the truth. It wasn't reality. Mm-hmm. Which kind of tells me, I mean, he's a little delusional. Like we already said earlier, life happens.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no one to blame for that, and nobody should be blamed. And these industries, these things that we're talking about, and these really creative things that we all want to do, they're not black and white. It's not easy. Mm-hmm. It's not easy to get there. And even from people that, we listen to, that we watch and listen to their podcast, it's not easy. Mm-hmm. It's not going to happen. Yeah. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes a lot of work and a lot of consistent work.
You have to, whether you expect it from someone or you expect it from yourself, you have to ask, how much work have you done? Yeah. You know what I mean? How did you help this happen? And how much have you contributed? Whether it's towards something in a group, or it's on your own, or whatever. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And you're right. It's not black and white, and it's not as simple as that. You know what I mean? there's a million other people out there who think they have great ideas, who think that they're special.
There are a million other people who are talented, either at, just as talented as you are, or even more talented than you are, who haven't made it there. And then there are stupid people who are kind of a phenomenon on their own, who said something dumb and then got famous for it, and now are making an entire career. Whatever.
That's not
you get the point. You get the point here. That, it's just like, you have to do the work, and to think that an entire group of people, or even one person out of that group, is suddenly just going to make it without any hard work, and that you're going to somehow get in with that too, that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
And it's not a good thing to put on someone.
No, and then it's definitely not a good thing to then turn it against them when it's not.
Use it against them.
To use it against them when it's not to your exact specification and fucking delusional fantasy.
Right. I mean, because the person, the friend that Cameron had told this to, he's a very talented person, and he's been working.
They're all very.
Everyone is really talented, but
yes,
this person is talented too, and he's been working very hard. I didn't even know that he had been still working this entire time, and that Cameron had apparently or told him that he was going to help him be like his manager or something. But then to just turn that back on him, that's ridiculously hurtful.
Well, I mean, I think you learn when you really want to do something, especially in an entertainment like industry, you learn pretty quickly how much fucking work it's going to be. Yeah. And unless you like doing all the work and all the gritty and the gross and the lame stuff, you can't get it. You can't get any of the rest of it. You know what I mean? You have to put the work as much as everything else. You can't just think about it and want it and then expect it to happen,
Yeah.
And that's just what it seemed like, what it was happening. And then there was a disappointment when it didn't happen. And it's like, well, anyone who's in that position, whether it's for themselves or for someone else or in a group, it's like, you seriously have to ask yourself, what did you do to help?
Yeah.
Especially in the times where it was most important. You know what I mean?
Right.
And my most important question is, what did you do for yourself?
Yeah.
Because you can be all sizzle, no steak. You know what I mean? like
right.
You can make a loud noise, but you can be like it doesn't fucking matter. You know what I mean?
Hey, you have to have some shit to back it up.
Right. And
just some balls.
And some fucking sincerity.
Yeah.
And I don't know. With everything, it makes me question everything.
Yeah.
It makes me question everything, and I know at the end of it, whatever it means is, I saw how it could affect my everyday life, keeping this with me, and I don't want to take this with me.
No.
Because I look at all my friends and people who I still think are my friends, and I see success. I mean, and at the end of it, what matters the most? When you grow up and you go through things and you move and you come back and you try and you fail and you get back up again, what matters most at the end of it is if you're an asshole or not. Or if you're a good person at the end of it, then it's fucking successful. It doesn't matter if you're still in your hometown or in some fucking high rise in some big city. Who fucking cares? Are you a good person? And I look at all the people I still consider my friends now, and they're all successful.
Yeah.
And the one person who is blaming everyone else for not being successful is the one I seriously doubt is.
Yeah.
Because if success means not being an asshole, then I don't know if they're very successful right now.
That's true.
And that's it. That there's little things that matter. I could look at my life now and I could see it one way and think somehow I am a failure, but I'm not. I said in the beginning of this, in the last podcast, is like I could be seen as so poor and so in certain ways, but in all the important ways, I feel like I'm very rich. You know, I feel like I'm very successful. I feel good about myself.
Yeah.
That's number one. I like myself, and I feel good about myself. That's number one. Number two, I have a wonderful, like, family. You know, like meaning you and Chief and our friends. You know, and with that, I have wonderful friends.
Yeah, you still have
And
wonderful friends.
With that, I have a wonderful family, as in, you know, mom and dad and stuff like that. And I mean, they're all right. I mean, it could be worse.
Yeah, it could be a lot worse, and at least you have them.
And I have them, and I have creativity. I mean, that's something that counts a lot, you know. I have love, and this is not something I want to take with me into my 30s, into a new year, into a new decade. This is not someone I want to take with me.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I will always be a very forgiving person. I will always be a very understanding person. And no matter what you guys decide, I will always be on your side about it. But, you know, I always have hope that something will change. That Cameron will look at himself and he'll figure it out. He'll seek help, some kind of therapy maybe. Hint, hint. And, you know, he'll want to be friends in the future. It may be different, but that he'll want that. That'll always be me, because that's who I am. No matter if it's my personal life, if it's family, if it's friends. I always want people to be good people and want to be good people in my life, in our life. So I have a little bit more hope that something good will happen. But who knows? And I'm not going to push it, and I'm not going to try to reach out to Cameron myself, because what's done is done. But I don't know. I have a little bit more hope about it.
Well, I don't know. It's like, it's not that I don't have hope. I don't want to carry it with me. And it's not even about forgiveness. It's just like, I just want to be above it. You know what I mean? I just want to be above it. Like, it's neither here nor there. Like, it just is.
Yeah.
And I am who I am. And really, it doesn't affect my life all that much. Yeah. And it's not going to stop me from doing something.
Yeah.
And it's not going to stop me from doing what I'm already doing. And it's not going to stop me from doing anything that's important to me. So, fuck it. I want to end this on as much as a positive note as we can. And it's even hard for me to recollect everything we just said. And I hope none of it was mean. That was never my intention, was to be mean, at all. And so I hope that's not how it came across. But I do feel like in some way, some anger would be understandable.
A lot more than just, some anger, because for whatever reason that Cameron has lost his mind and decided he doesn't want to be part of his group of friends that everyone has considered brothers. You guys are more than in your right to be angry and pissed off about it. Mm-hmm. I would be. I don't have people in my life like this. Mm-hmm. I do have some people that, if they were to reach out to me or if they needed something, I would be there for them, no matter what that means or what that took. But I don't have these kinds of connections that you guys do. Mm-hmm. I don't have a 20-year-long friendship with someone. I don't have these types of relationships anymore. Mm-hmm. And maybe, I feel like just more recently, within the last year or so, I've become close to some of the guys and can consider them friends. But that was part of my doing and part of being part of that outside, that outsider type thing, where I'm just kind of more, I'm the girlfriend of, I'm the wife of, I'm a person of someone in the group. But now I can consider a lot of these people friends. So no, I get what you mean. you guys should be and are allowed to be a little angry and pissed off about it.
Yeah, and like I said, it's probably understandable, but at the same time, like I said, I don't even want that. I want to be, above it, just whatever. You know what I mean? It's not whatever. It matters, and I feel it and all of that, but it's just like, it's not stopping me from anything. So.
No, I mean,
I'm just continuing.
I mean, I think everyone was really more sad that they wanted to let on about it. This made this made you cry. This made me cry to an extent too, and I can't imagine what some people who were closer to Cameron feel. Mm-hmm. But there are some good things that come out of it. I think just one really good thing that comes out of it.
Yeah, there are definitely good things that come out of it, and that's what I want to talk about now. I feel like I've spent too much on this one thing and this one person, and he's already had enough attention. I am grateful for this because I've spent more time with you and our friends, playing games and hanging out and being with each other than we have in this month and this week. Just in this week than we have in the last 5 months. Yeah. So that's fucking cool.
Well, all right. So for the past 3 nights in a row, 4 nights in a row?
4?
I'm not sure. We've decided to play Minecraft. Now, my friend Alex wanted to. He finally got a PlayStation, and I was really excited because he, of course, this whole time hasn't had a PlayStation. He's been playing Minecraft on PC. And so I encouraged him a few months ago, get a PlayStation. Mm-hmm. He finally did. So fucking excited. Alex and I played a couple of times on PlayStation. You played with us the last time, and we started our own little world. And so the night after this happened, you and I were like, you know what, let's get on PlayStation, let's get in a party. And even if they don't, most of them didn't have Minecraft, or they had gotten rid of it, had to re-download it. But we're like, even if they don't want to play, let's just get in a party. Let's just talk to them. We used to do that a long time ago where, I might do something on my PlayStation or might not want to play and just sit and read. And we decided, well, let's do that. Let's get in a party. Let's just hang out. Let's just chat, and you and the guys can play. You got a new video game recently. And then they all decided, collectively, to re-download Minecraft and get in our game that we started with my friend Alex. And oh my god, drama.
Not
drama. But no, I mean, it's been ridiculously fun.
It's been so fun. It's been so fucking fun.
It's been crazy. Yeah. I have been murdered more than once, 3 times by an individual who is named Taco. Throwing some shade. But yeah, he trapped me in one of his spare houses. Or his backup house. Mm-hmm. He tricked me and trapped me in there, and then he flooded the room with lava. And then he also got the same prank with you and Javi, and also trapped both of you inside there, and did the same thing. Yeah.
So it's been fun.
It's been crazy.
Needless to say, it's been really fun.
So I mean, this tiny little game that we had when we were playing with Alex, we had one house, we had one fence for food and crops. That's all we had. I think we have 5 full houses that people are building and still continuing to build. I have my own house now. I built a bridge to it, and Taco has 45.
I don't remember.
Backup houses. I have found 4 of them, maybe 5, and he also took over a tower, and he's building a moat of lava around it to keep out.
And for anyone who doesn't know what Minecraft is, this whole little section has been really confusing for you, and I'm sorry. But there's no other way to describe it. Play it. If you like video games, play it. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. Point is that we've had a lot of fun recently with our friends.
We have.
And
I feel like one of them.
Yeah. And it's like I said, we've hung out and played and had the most fun. And this last week, 5 days or so, then we have in the last 5 months, probably.
It's been a long time, and for me, when I first start getting out of my bad spot, you know, I told myself I need to keep up with the friends that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I need to keep up with my friend Alex, who is one of them, who didn't get a mention just because, like, him and I we don't talk every day. We talk about once a month, and we only text a little, but yeah, he's still a great person. But I had to keep up with my friendships, and I had to reestablish them. I felt like I neglected.
Yeah.
And for me, a little bit, this is part of it. And you and I mentioned it in I think a few podcasts ago, about hanging out with our friends more when we go to Silver City,
mm-hmm.
and keeping these things going. And this just added to that for me.
It just perpetuated it. If there's one thing it did already, is it brought the rest of us closer. And so honestly, if distance from him brings me closer to all these guys, then keep fucking walking, dude. Like,
right.
I love this, you know what I mean? I fucking love this, and this is what I want. This is how it should be. It's love, and it's support, and it's fun, and it's shit talking, and
it's lava in a locked room.
It's lava traps, and and it's good, and that's how it should be. And that's what I want to take with me. Right there.
Me too. Except stop trapping me in rooms with lava. I'm sorry. That's the last time I'll mention it. On the podcast.
I want to hear about this for 10 more years.
You might. You know, here we go. 10 more years. Yay.
10 more years. 10 more. But anyway, so, and that's been already one good thing that's come out of this. And that's, you know, like I said, I want to end on a positive note, and that's one of the most positive things. But I also want to mention all the positive people that are still in my life. It's still in our lives. People that are still my friends. I love each and every one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this has only just further cemented that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm really grateful for them. And we could all be brought together by this really shitty, terrible thing. And that we can all kind of band together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I feel originally, I mean, that's also part of the reason why the original group was formed. You had to be there for each other.
Yeah.
Because you guys maybe had nobody else.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Obviously.
And that's still proven now. And, you know, and even when people have their own lives going on, we can still take a few hours every night, every other night to continue that.
Yeah.
To just play a stupid game
and
for a few hours.
What the hell is
to text each other back.
Right. What the hell? Yeah. What the hell is a couple hours out of your life, out of your day, compared to friendship and all these wonderful things?
Yeah.
You know.
And we're going to Silver City in 2 weeks. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. Christmas is in 2 weeks.
Well, by the time this comes out, it'll be a week.
It'll be a week. Oh my God. Try not to panic. But we'll be in Silver City in a couple of weeks. By the time this comes out, a week. And we are already lining up how we're going to spend our time. We want to try to see our friends. We want to spend time with families. Hopefully see our friends again. You know, we're excited.
Yeah.
I'm happy, and
yes.
We're working on it.
And grateful.
Yeah, I'm grateful.
Very grateful. And you would never think that after something like this, you'd say, I'm grateful. Or something like that, but I am. Like, I'm happy. Because I know what I have, and what I have is really good. And the people I have are really good. And I love every one of them.
Yeah, so do I. You have some really good friends, and I have some really good friends.
Yeah. And that's what I would say to anyone. I mean, clearly everyone is going through something right now. Everyone's always going through something, but it seems like specifically in this last month, it's just been fucking crazy. That's just been crazy. It hasn't stopped, and it's every week, every day, you know what I mean? Every other day.
There's something new. I'm waiting for something now to happen again to me. Because it's been like every other, and you finally got yours, and now it's my turn again.
Right. But point is...
And there's even stuff we haven't talked about on the podcast, which maybe we will, but...
Point is, everyone's going through something, especially right now. And just look at what you got. And look at what you're doing. And if you're not doing enough or you haven't done anything, do something about it. And enjoy it. And look around. I mean, there's people there. There's people there who care and who love you. And if you're ever in a shitty situation, change it. Because that's it. Think about right now. Think about what you want to take with you. Think about right now what you want to take with you into this new year, into this new decade, this new chapter, and what you don't.
I think we said it last time, or we at least said a version of it. Love the people that are in your life right now. If you have, a loved one, a friend, family member, romantic person, whatever, boyfriend, girlfriend, I don't care. And you care about them, let them know and spend time with them now, because whether it is a loss as in death, as someone dies, passes away, a friend moves away, a friend tells you they don't want to be friends with you anymore, they break up with you, a divorce, you need to love the people while they're in your lives and don't take it for granted, because you might get a call one day that they're not there anymore for whatever reason it is.
Yep.
You never know when that's going to be. We never expected it. And I don't think anyone ever does. Nope. But tell your friends that you care about them.
Don't let
Play games with them.
Yeah.
Good games.
Do everything. Good. Yeah, not like mental mind games and manipulation.
And narcissism.
Gaslighting. Good things like Minecraft and Call of Duty. And also don't let anything go unsaid. If there's people out there who don't know how you feel, tell them how you feel, especially if it's a positive thing, because you also don't know when that won't be something.
Yeah.
And you also don't know how many people need to fucking hear it.
Yeah.
This has been the Last Word Podcast. The podcast Apple didn't want you to hear.
Oh, we haven't said that in a while.
We haven't said it since we brought it up.
We're working on it. We need scripts.
We probably do. And, well, not scripts, but like just beginning and ending points.
We're still working it out after 12 episodes.
Play us out, Chief. That's our song. He's playing our song. This has been the Last Word Podcast. Fuck it. That's it. That's the end.
I think we've lost our minds.
This has been the Last Word Podcast. We are almost at the end of the month. We are at the end of our rope, and we are trying our best. And we love you very much. I love you very fucking much.
I love you guys too.
And thank you for listening. This was a short one, and we said it would be, but take the extra time and do something worthwhile. Say something worthwhile. Or just enjoy it. I love you. Please take care of yourselves. Please take care of each other. We'll see you next time.
Later.